So yes, while the audience are getting seated, once again, I would like to invite you all for this panel discussion on innovation and technology in technical textile sector. And the discussion is going to be moderated by Dr. Ajit Nigam, CEO, NEFT Foundation for Design Innovation, NFDI. And the panelists are Mr. Rajiv Saxena, IRSS, Mission Coordinator, NTTM, Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, and Dr. M. Vallalar, IAS, Commissioner Textiles, Government of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Rajesh Mridunjayan, Vice President, 3D Products and Solutions, Monotech Systems, Mr. Narendra Kajale, Chief Executive Officer, Export Syndicate India Limited, Mr. Devadas Damodaraswamy, Chief Technical Officer, Loyal Textiles and ITTA member. While the other panelists would join the panel, I would request the moderator, Dr. Ajit Kumar Nigam, to start the panel discussion, please.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm sure you guys have enjoyed the tea, and let's get our brains cracking again. With that, we are going to talk about technical textiles, what it is, where does India stand, what we should do, and I'm going to request panelists to think from that perspective that if we have to make a recommendation to the government of India on what kind of changes are possible, we will do that. So the Joint Secretary is just joining us. And it's very important that we have representations from Government of India and the person responsible for technical textiles in the country. So we would wait for him to join us and then quickly start our discussion. And during that time, we really have to think. We started a country with the textiles as a base. And then we've kind of moved up and have started thinking differently. So thank you for joining us. And so as I said, let's put our thinking caps on and let's start thinking what is possible. Before I get into question and answer with each one of you, would like to understand from each individual, what do they think of technical textiles? What does it really mean to them? Over to you, sir.
Hello. Yep. Hello. Yeah. So I am Rajesh Mridunjayan. I am the Vice President for Monotech Systems Limited. We have been in the industry for 23 years with our 2D printing and 3D printing, equipments and solutions. Till I think probably 6 months back, we were only looking at the industry like engineering, aerospace, medical as something related to mechanical industry or electronics industry or something like that. But in the recent past, we have been introduced to something called technical textiles. And very surprisingly, I came to know that all these areas which we were talking about, where the additive manufacturing or 3D printing solutions can go in, they are all part of technical textiles. And that's something which really amazed me. And here I am today to discuss more and understand more about it. But really it is important to understand that it's all about functionality and the performance. And we don't talk about just aesthetics and decoratives here. So we talk more about functionality. And so when we talk about functionality and probably the properties of the materials, how it works into the system, we talk about technology which has to be implemented and smart technologies, and customization of course comes in part of it because we are using design. So design creativity is very, very important in this. All this leads to the understanding that technical textiles are just not aesthetics, they are more of functionality and properties, and that's where we as an industry would like to get in and understand and implement 3D printing into this into this segment, and that's where we are.
So we'll take it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. May I request the audience to maintain silence, please? And the exhibition area would be kept open until 6 p.m. So during the panel discussions, it is requested to please be available here at the venue. May I request the audience to please keep silence, please maintain silence.
Can I request people standing there to, in case you want to have a conversation, you can have it at a different location.
Thank
because
you very
it
much.
Also disturbs us while we are speaking. And so you have your voice, and we've been talking about a technical textile association. And what does the industry really think about it, and what should we look at things?
Thank you. My name is Narendra. I'm Narendra Kajale. I'm technical textile professional for last 28 years. I have been working in different companies, so just briefly introducing myself. Technical textile is all about, creating barriers for different threads. I mean, it's a functionalities that are imparted to the regular conventional fabrics. So India has been very strong into textiles in spinning, weaving, processing. Now the next natural extension is imparting it some functionalities which give those fabrics some barrier performance. The barrier could be with regards to material, the barrier, I mean various threads. If we look at the recent example is the COVID, what Mr. Saxena also mentioned in his inaugural speech. I think we could respond faster because we knew how to create a barrier for the virus. So such kind of barrier performance when imparted to the fabric through various processes. The processes could be enormous. I mean, there are hundreds of types of processes that can be used to create the barrier, to impart barrier performance to the fabric. Like say, for example, coating. Even within coating, there are 12, 13 different types of coatings that are done onto the fabric. Then the lamination. So all these processes, all these process innovations, they impart functionalities to the fabric, and then they are converted into the article which gives the desired performance that is expected. So currently, if we look at it today, we are, I think, Mr. Saxena, please correct me if my statistics are not right, but I think we are 12 to 14% of the total textile in technical textile segment in terms of revenue and in terms of volumes, near about, how much? 10%, yeah. 10%. So we have, I mean, if we look at the overall potential to grow, I think we have enormous potential to grow. We have enormous intellectual capital that is available within our country. Just that we have to integrate them and ride this wave of growth in technical textile is what I would say.
When this growth has to happen, there are multiple ways, multiple approaches, so the skill development has to happen. A lot of things have to, but before we get into those details, would like to understand your take on technical textiles, please?
Yeah, actually, India has been traditionally very strong in textiles as a science, as an art, and as an industry. But unfortunately, India has not been very good or a very large exporter or manufacturer of technical textiles. We lag far behind China, Taiwan, and many other countries. That is one of the reasons is that we have been traditionally into woven and knitted fabrics, whereas we have not been into non-wovens. Slowly, non-wovens have come to India, and we have started doing barrier textiles, as my colleague presented. We at Loyal Textiles, we have been in technical textile field for almost 24 years now. That means we started very early. We are one of the first entrants. We are essentially in safety and protective garments, and we have been exporting technical textiles, not only garments, but also fabrics, to almost 28 different countries. Currently, we are exporting about 48 countries. We are the second largest exporter of technical textile garments from India, and we are specializing in fire retardant, high visibility, chemical resistance, including acid and alkali, flash fire resistance, molten metal resistance, electric arc garments, anti-static and electrostatic discharge garments. all of these are with certifications, with European certifications. So we are quite proud to say that we are the second largest exporter in this particular field. Hospital uniforms with antimicrobial and antiviral and odor-free finishes, we have pioneered almost about 15 years back. That helped us to do a lot of things during the COVID situation. We developed PPE, reusable PPE as well, so it can be washed and reused for doctors. And this has got also a barrier in between the two layers that is first developed by us in collaboration with the Taiwanese technical textile industry. And we have also developed reusable masks. And these masks are quite protective. They are also coated with antiviral. Now, we also currently do cool-it finishes and UV protection garment for mining industry. And recently, about a year back, we have started supplying cancer protective UV garments to American Medical Association. They have been recommending our garments for cancer patients in US. We have our own company in Italy called P&P Loyal, where they have a warehousing, designing. Most of these designs come from Italy, and we do the manufacturing in Koilpatti, Satur, Arasanur, Naidupet, and Kadalur. Almost 8 different locations in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. We are a vertically integrated company, right from ginning to garments. And recently we have developed heat-resistant cotton garments, about 475 GSM for steel industry. This is also being supplied to Tata Steels and the Indian industry as well. And for ONGC and oil and gas industries, we supply lightweight and inherent FR garments. The innovations that Loyal has recently carried out are cotton lightweight high protective garments with heat resistant, high strength and FR. This is a patented garment because as low as 110 GSM to 180 GSM, we can bring in FR property. That is the patent that we have won. We have got multi-protections in the same garment like FR, anti-static, arc and rain and wind protective for extreme weather. These are supplied to, let us say, Italian post, where they have to deliver their post in, let's say, high altitude and very extreme weather climates where there is ice and snow. They need both rain protective, wind protective, and also FR protective. Inherent sustainable FR garments is one of our specialities. And this one, because it is sustainable, because most of the FR garments are not sustainable.
So this is right. So let's also understand multiple viewpoints. We've heard the industry association, and it is each individual a particular direction. So I'm going to request Rajiv ji, who holds the responsibility of nationwide responsibility for multiple sectors, and would like to understand from him what is Government of India thinking as far as technical textiles are concerned, and how the Government of India wishes to ensure that technical textile not only grows, but we become a leader across the world. Over to you.
Very good question. Basically, in the area of technical textiles, as I have told in the morning, that government is very serious. They have launched a mission that is called National Technical Textile Mission. It has multi-pronged approach. One thing is that we have to develop new applications for the technical textiles. Basically, technical textile, as you think of adding the functionality to textiles, besides this, there is more. Anything fiber, it comes under the category of textiles, like geotextiles, agro-textiles, has nothing to do with the clothing or textiles, but they are categorized as technical textiles. Similarly, some other items are not so distinct. They can be overlapping functional with the traditional textile, like cloth tech. Cloth tech means zippers. So many things comes under the cloth tech. Some packaging are there. So government approach has a long vision. One thing is that India is not producing high performance fibers. We have a focus area like to develop nylon 66 is the end fiber, which has a very high strength, and carbon fiber, which is the ever known strongest material known in the world. as compared to bait. Lightweight and very strong material. So we are not developing any, we are not having this. Aramides. Aramides has the very large application in protective textiles. And another area is ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, UHMW it is called. It has got multiple applications, composites. So we are promoting in this mission the basic research works. We have already sanctioned some of the research projects to different IITs. Our textile research associations who are working on this area of basic fibers like carbon lab they have developed, and for 3 years, 2 years to duration they will be coming up, and many more projects in the applied sciences. Like recently we had a MSG meeting in which we have sanctioned 23 such projects, in which one of the interesting, although it is low value projects are there, but like turbine you have metallic blades. We are going to, this project proposes to replace metallic blades by fiber. Even you can think of, our minister suggested, why not we have this mobile towers, and all these towers are there, these can be made of fibers. Solar panels, we have to think over. This is a wild areas. So we are inviting the research proposals from the institutions. We have hold the number of webinars, seminars with all. We are covering almost all the top institutions, IITs, NITs, and inviting the research proposals. We have got an ample fund in this area. We have around 1,000 crores outlays there. Till now we have only spent 160 crores. Proposals have been approved, and more proposals of around 250 crores are under examination. These are examined by a very high level committee. 3 layers are there. One subcommittee, I will for the knowledge of everyone, I will tell you. There is technical subcommittee we have formed, which is headed by former Secretary Biotechnology, Dr. Renu Swarup, and it has got experts from material science, chemical, from IIT, nanotechnology also, geotextiles. It has got so many experts to examine the proposals. And then it goes to the next level committee that is headed by member science and technology, Niti Aayog, and principal scientific advisor to Prime Minister. These 2 persons head this committee, then they approve the proposal, and finally it goes to mission steering group that is headed by our Honorable Minister. And after this process, we approve the proposals. So proposals are invited. We have liberalized the guidelines. Like earlier it was to be, proposals has to come from the level of professors or scientists grade H. Now we have reduced the eligibility criteria. Even scientists grade C, assistant professors can submit the proposals. We are examining. Textile machinery is another area. India is almost nil in the textile machinery. Imports are going up like anything. Every year, you talk of any textile industry, they are importing machines. LMW is the only manufacturer known in India who is, but they are also in the cotton value textile chain, not in technical textiles, non-wovens, and so we are thinking how to we go ahead for developing some machines so that in, let us say, in 10 years or some period we can able to compete with the Germans, Japanese. So this is another area. We are also coming up for startups schemes. This is also very in the stage of formulation. Within a few months, we are also calling for the application for startups in technical textile area. And then another important is the demand generation. In India, we don't have the demand for the technical textiles. Like simply take the simple example of build tech. In foreign countries, in developed countries, you find that canopies, awnings are there in the houses, but India, because of the low income level and low awareness level, we are not having this thing. Geotextiles, by creating awareness, we are creating the demands. We are going to set up the demonstration centers where we can explain, people can go and really see what are the advantages, like in agrotech. You must have seen the shade nets. Shades are there, there are technical textiles. On the ground, there is a layer of some textile layer is there, material is there. So it retains the moisture, it reduces the amount of water required. So in this area we are also working so that a common farmer without government aid sees the advantage and can basically apply these agro textiles in this area.
Very interesting to note. when you read some basic economics, we realize that in lot many areas, including technical textiles, India tends to play catch up, if I can use that word. And what Rajiv ji is talking about is a culture of innovation, a culture which is demand driven from the domestic area. So we are not really dependent upon. India is a large consumption country. You have a huge stock and infrastructure. We have a great army. We have mobile tech, another area where a lot of things are possible. So if we really have to look up of the 12 defined sector, I'm sure the audience really knows what 12 sectors are. At this point in time, when we look at some data points, we find that it is mobile tech, which is the highest in the world, percentage-wise, is low in India. So, I mean, as industry leaders, what should we really do so that the expenditure done by Government of India on infrastructure itself gets aligned with the requirement, with the innovation which is happening within our academic institutes and sciences? How should we go about it? You would like to respond?
Yeah, actually, the government should make it mandatory by regulatory measures that safety and protective garments should be worn by, let's say, fire department. Recently, we had a fire accident and we saw the firefighters really sweating it out. They didn't have any protective equipment. So our firefighters deserve a protective equipment like our soldiers do. Our Prime Minister has done a lot of things for our army. So similar protective garments are available, and they are made in India by Loyal Textiles and Arvind and many other manufacturers. But there is no regulation, there is no mandatory, let's say, law demanding that every worker, for example, people who are doing welding, they should have electric protective, arc protective garments which are available in India. So that is why almost every single garment that is made by Loyal is exported. We don't have a domestic market at all except Tata Steel and ONGC.
So domestic demand needs to be created only,
yes.
Then we can...
That is what I am telling about the creation of the demand. We have to focus sector-specific area we have to work. Like we are organizing a protective textiles-based conference and seminar, in which we invite all the users like industry peoples, defense sector, home sector, oil industry, chemicals industry, so that they can understand the advantages. And also we are working in the research area. We have sanctioned number of projects in this area where by the research work we can reduce the weight of the protective textile. The weight is the comfort level has to be seen. You cannot just ask somebody to wear a uniform which is uncomfortable, although it is protective. So we are working in this area, and a number of things are to be done, like this education also. Education is very important. We don't have the skilled education. So in a few days, I think we will be launching a scheme in which we are going to give aid to our educational institutions for introducing technical textile courses. We will give the aid in the form of purchasing lab equipment, training of faculties, just like civil engineering discipline can have one subject on geotextiles. If any college, engineering college introduces, then we will give funding. Medical college can have this medical textiles. Agriculture universities can have agrotech fields, either mechanical engineering can have industrial textiles, and mobile tech, they can incorporate some courses like this. So we are, the scheme is coming very soon. And also we are working on how to impart the skill. Some specific areas like geotextiles, you see it is widely used in for slope stabilization in Northeast, especially Northeast. It is very, very much significance. You made the road caves in. So skill development has to be there. We have I think 2-3 days back, have the consultation with the industry and industry associations. How can we design some courses for skill development? So we have to work in different areas, sector specific, product specific. Then only we can achieve some targets.
Interesting. Yeah. You had some comments to say.
Yes, so I would like to say this from the industry side of it. If we see that India has been, and Indians have been industrious, and we have been innovative also, but After the colonial regime, we have just got into manufacturing, which means we have been the manufacturing hub for the world, which means everything related to right from the way we learn the things, everything is related to manufacturing. Innovation has not been part of it. But now we have a great strength because now we are part of manufacturing. We know the complete scenario of manufacturing, and we are moving from industry 3.0 to 4.0. We can actually leverage this to support innovation, which means, but here we have a gap here right now. What we see is that there is a lot of gap between the academy and the industry as well. Now this has to reduce. Unless the innovation happens with respect to the industry, the requirements are fulfilled, it's very difficult to actually create this, the whole ecosystem. It's very difficult. And again, as the Joint Secretary was telling about various things, including we are not looking at, say, turbine blades, we're not talking about wind blades, how to make it more efficient, lightweighting. I guess, technical textiles is all about how it make it more efficient. And we always talk about clothing and decoratives, but we have to again move our mindset to this system where we are talking about technical textiles, and again the education system should be respective to that, like build tech, space tech, mobile tech, those sort of specific requirements are to be done, and industry has to participate in that.
Yeah, I have few comments about your question on mobile tech, and also like to focus something on the demand generation. So basically, if we look at the demand generation part, it's easy to draw parallels. If we look at how the textile has grown in our country, we were just a good cotton producer and a silk producer in the past, historically. But the downstream processes got developed. Like we've made a systematic investments into spinning, weaving, processing, garmenting, and that's how the textile has grown. So if we talk about demand generation, of course, like we discussed, mandate is one part. Mandate is required, but that comes more later on the demand fulfillment part. But from the demand generation point of view, I think it is very important to have investments into downstream processes of technical textile product. Like right now, a step in investments by the government on through NTTM on fibers is the step in right direction, because that will develop the required fiber base. Then the downstream processes will get developed, and when the product is available, then it is an option for people to buy. Right now, nobody wants to trust us as a country. We don't have basic fibers like nylon 6/6, what Mr. Saxena was saying. Polyester, we are not able to look beyond polyester and cotton as a country. So if any buying hub, which is say US or Europe, which are the main consumption, of course our domestic market is there. But as of now, today the market is US and Europe, because there is a mandate to use technical textiles. We don't have. So if we look at from those perspective, we don't even have the basic fibers. So that's what I was saying, that from the from downstream process improvement is one part, mandate is another part, and awareness is the thing. I think with these three dimensions, probably we may be able to create inertia which would create a demand for technical textile products. And coming to your question on mobile tech, simply taking mobile tech, because mobile tech is popular in US and Europe, so we should focus on mobile tech. I don't think that's the right approach. It may be useful, but in a different perspective, because the concept of mobile tech is changed now. The mobile tech people are moving from fossil fuel to electric vehicle. So what are the avenues? And electric vehicles are going to explode in time to come. So we need, from the demand generation point of view, we need to look at what are the pieces which would go into, say, electrical vehicle from the technical textile perspective. So one of the most important part in electric vehicle is the panel. The key to success in electric vehicle is lightweighting. So moving from metal to composites, thermoplastic composites, which is textiles and resins, maybe thermoplastic or thermoset. That time will tell, depending on what are the impact requirement, what is the progressive failure mechanisms that are required to be achieved. But from the mobile tech perspective, I think Yes, these are the areas that main body of the car. Then even the tires have to go lighter. The most common technical textile what we were not knowing even in India, though we were one of the largest contributors, is the tire cord fabrics. They are biggest technical textiles, right? And they go unnoticed. We are still among the second or the third largest of tire cord manufacturer. And of course the second and third largest importer of tire cord fabric in our country. So there is a demand exists for tire cord fabrics, but we are importing 2/3 of our requirement from outside because we do not have infrastructure to fulfill the demand of tire manufacturing in India. So I think from the mobile tech perspective, I would like to give this two examples that the demand exists, but we do not have the downstream, upstream processes for mobile tech to be developed enough to meet the demand of the mobile tech sector that is going to see. I would say that in India, mobile tech is of course from the electrical, the battery separator is another technical textile product. Batteries are going to be like, they are going to be the heart of the entire electric vehicle. So battery separator, they are all textile product. They are permeable and impermeable membranes. Why don't we focus on developing these products? I think innovation is, I would say we often get confused with innovation and research. Research is we spend money and generate knowledge. Innovation is we use that knowledge and earn back the money. Yes. So there is enough knowledge about electrical vehicle, there is enough knowledge about textiles that is available in our country. We just have to use that knowledge and convert it into the business. I think that is what I would like to say from the mobile tech perspective. But if we look from our country perspective, we are an agriculture-based economy, and we are going to remain agriculture-based economy. So the technical textile products, so maybe from the export point of view, mobile tech is important. But from the domestic point of view, I think agrotech is something what we may like to consider. There are various products in agrotech which are textile-based, and I think that would be enough for to create a push or lift for technical textile as a segment.
Interesting.
Yeah, just to continue from what you finished. Yeah, agrotech, then buildtech and geotechs. These are the three segments where we can really grow fast. There is a demand and there is a manufacturing base, but then we have to really go into it quite deeply. See, I just listed out about 5 recent innovations and research and development activities that have been carried out in US in mostly technical textiles. It is Raynor, a company in multinational company in US. They are in advanced material division. They have developed a very highly absorbent cross-linked cellulose fiber. Such cellulose fiber is not available in India. Though we are into viscose, even bamboo we are coming up, but then we are in modal, we are in so many type of viscose fibers, but we are not in cross-linked viscose fiber, which is highly absorbent. Similarly, Weinhauser, another US company, has patented an economical biodegradable superabsorbent fibers. These are all used in for incontinence garment. That means a person who cannot control his urine. So he needs a special undergarment. That is called incontinence garment. So for that garment, you need this superabsorbent molecular fiber. Similarly, SRI International, it's not but Stanford Research Institute, USA, they have developed a novel range of biodegradable polyolefin copolymers. We don't have them. But we have our IITs, we have our so many textile institutes in India. We can, as Secretary Sir has said, that we are going to fund them, we are going to promote them. So very soon we can have such fiber development in India. As he mentioned, that high molecular weight, low GSM, textile composites and fibers are very much required.
Very interesting. So this thought of the industry, the government understands to a large extent. This discussion has to continue so that we start looking at creation of. So in the interest of time, I would request each one of you to talk about your final remarks. And I also believe there is a question from one of the audience members. So first let's address the question, then what do you call final remarks before we close it. Yes, please. Can you give him a mic, please? You could use this mic.
Thank you, sir. We are the largest exporter of technical textile to USA, especially fire hose. Around 300 metric ton per month we are exporting. I am asking one question, sir, Saxena sir. What is the constructive plan to the government to support us? For example, when we are started last year, that freight logistic was $5,700. Today, $16,000. How we can manage? We have to look out our renewal, our survival also. So we are talking about technical textile, okay. What is the government you are supporting us? Okay, one time your subsidy, we eat and swallow, finish. So long time, what is the idea? So the logistics is extraordinary, 3 times increased. So now we have to survive the industry. Same time we have to technical textile increment. Okay, not even 2% we are increased. We are last 5 years we are talking about technical textile. In Tamil Nadu, only one textile unit, that loyal textile. Other nobody is doing any technical textile. The largest industries in Tamil Nadu, all over India, the highest spinning mills, but only one unit. Nobody is ready to take risk. So the main is survival.
Thank you for the question. Very interesting question that you want to understand from the government what kind of support they can give for you to survive. Yes, that is a business question, and I'm sure we can take that offline. And sir, in case you would like to respond to this, but that's a business case.
Two things I want to tell you. You don't think that NTTM is having for the different purpose. It is for long-term perspective, and you are talking about immediate relief or immediate assistance sort of thing. That is for that PLI scheme is there that I am not looking after, but PLI has the technical textiles as one of the important area. You can seek assistance in that scheme. In the PLI scheme. Not NTTM is just
Can I request you to take this offline?
I just like to address his concern one moment quickly. Sir, by the way, the statistics are not right. I think Loyal Textile is not the only technical textile company in Tamil Nadu.
Sir, in Tamil Nadu, I am asking, telling about Tamil Nadu.
The Loyal Textile is not the only company of technical textile in Tamil Nadu. SRF, Tire Cord Fabric, India's largest that exists in Tamil Nadu. Okay. Shivatex.
I am spinning, sir. Spinning unit is only. Other than textile, okay.
See, technical textile we cannot look at in isolation, right?
Yes.
So if we look at technical textile as a segment in Tamil Nadu, it is not the only loyal textile. They are only into protective textiles. Protective textile is one of the 13 vertical of technical textile.
Correct.
And by the way, the freights have increased. That is not only for your company. That is increased for all 13 verticals.
Yes, I am talking about whole India, not for my company.
Exactly. So if the freight have increased for the entire 13 segments, that's a question which definitely needs answer. But I don't think this is a forum which has capability to answer this question because we are not controlling the logistics.
Can I request this to be taken offline? And quick 30 seconds remark because there is serious paucity of time. Quickly from you.
Sir, my only one question. So here after I'm not. Sir, we have to work for our human life, especially our militaries, army. So we are taking about only VIPs. So we have to technical. I am request. So we have to look after our army people who are their life also increase, human life, more value. So something we have to do for them also. This is my request. Thank you, sir.
Sir, but last 30 seconds, please.
Actually, a lot of industries in India are working towards protecting our military, whether it is Air Force or Naval or Army. In fact, Loyal Textiles is doing underwater garments for our Navy. It's all under trials. We are also working with ISRO to manufacture dust and heat barrier fabrics for ISRO. So we are working in the defense segment.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Yeah, I think I would say that from the innovation and technology and technical textile perspective, I think my colleague has spoken a lot about innovation into materials which are like super absorbent, flame resistant and all that kind of stuff. But I think innovation has to come all across into product and the processes. And I think the biggest disruption we should prepare our mind to look at is the 3D printing. My colleague is into that business. Because there are at least 5 startups which I have seen which are going to create disruption in the entire textile value chain. It's a production on demand. It's like it is going to change the textile value chain from spinning, weaving, processing, and garmenting to direct polymer to garmenting. Whether it is relatively easier for the thermoplastic product, but probably maybe little difficult for the natural product. But I think there are two or three startups that are working on natural products. So I would say that the innovation is not only related to material, it is also related to processes, it is also related to the business models.
Correct.
Right? So all across things are happening. Like if I had to give an example in 3D printing, I think Evernew and Tamicare, these are the 2 companies. They are into natural fiber 3D printing of direct textile structure. The entire value chain gets wiped off. It's a production on demand. If today I have to buy a new t-shirt, I will just put it into polymer, dissolve it, put the cartridge onto the printer, look at the latest design, print, and my new t-shirt is generated.
Great. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, I think that's the way technology is moving, I would say.
Disruption in the real sense.
Yes, so maybe partially we could also relate to his problem. So the idea of technical textiles is basically it takes care of the functional requirements for health and safety, cost effectiveness, durability, high strength, lightweight, versatility, customization, user friendliness, eco-friendliness, and logistical convenience. So how do all these come? It comes with moving ourselves from the conventional technology to new technologies. What we are all built today is the conventional methods which have been given to us by the foreign, the European and US nations. We have to develop our own in-house logistics, everything including machineries to the systems have to be developed by us using technology. And that's what I talk about technical textiles, and 3D printing or Industry 4.0, including AR, VR, everything is going to help in this system.
Very interesting. Thank you, sir. And to the government, the last word as always.
Basically, as some people have understood that it is only basic sciences we are working. For the applied sciences projects, industry has got to play a very important role. We are looking for the proposals with the industry partners for improving the processes, as some of the speakers has told. In this area, a lot of improvement can be done, and the industry can take an important part to propose such proposals under the scheme for funding. And some R&D section, some big industrial houses has to look for some R&D works also. Although some of them are doing, but we have to invest heavily on R&D from the industry side also, besides the government.
So a combination of government and the public and the private sector, things can change. Take you so much. It was a lovely discussion, and I'm sure we'll reconvene in. Okay.
Take the last question, yes. Due to paucity of time.
We have serious challenges of time.
Good afternoon, delegates. And I'm Mr. Dr. Devraj, and I'm the All India Chairperson for MSME Chamber of Commerce, operating from Noida, Delhi. And I am representing from basically Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So we have been awarded as the best SME Chamber of Commerce for 2021.
Can you come to the question directly,
The question
please?
is that we are promoting food processing industries in our Chamber of Commerce. So my first question is that, is there any application part of this technical textiles in the supply chain of food processing, packaging? Because we are definitely becoming hurdle for us for the preservation capacities and this one, packaging. So is there any application part which can help our farmers in the primary processing and secondary processing equipment?
So the government could answer that?
The PACTEC or packaging textiles, you can say, is also one of the areas. You can always tie up with some of the premier engineering college institutions or the research associations and can propose anything. You can always tie up with some of the premier education institutions research associations, laboratories to propose a proposal for development, for improvement in packaging material. We will definitely fund this.
Thank you so much. And we can take this conversation offline. Guys, lovely conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Can we have a huge round of applause for the panelists, please? I would now request Mr. Yash to felicitate the panelists for the day, joined by Dr. Vasundhara Chaudhary, Associate Professor NIFT, Mr. Rajiv Saxena, IRSS. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Followed by Mr. Rajesh Mithinjian, Vice President, 3D Products and Solutions, Monotech Systems. Can we keep continuing the encouragement? And next is Mr. Narendra Kajale, Chief Executive Officer, Techsport Syndicate India Limited. And then Mr. Devdas Damodaraswamy, Chief Technical Officer, Loyal Textiles and ITTA member. And last but not the least, the moderator of the panel discussion, Dr. Ajit Nigam, CEO, NFDI. Can we have a huge round of applause for the entire panel? Thank you very much. I request the dignitaries to take seats off the stage, please. Next, we move on to